Stardom 101. Stardom 101. Stardom 101.
Stardom 101.
It's the Stardom 101 Magazine Podcast.
Shining light on today's tastemakers
and innovators.
Kicking with your host, Christopher Boykin.
It's the Stardom 101 Magazine Podcast.
Well, yes, it's Stardom 101 Magazine Podcast here back on iHeartRadio. Thank you guys once again for tapping into our platform, our show, provided for you, by you. And today we have a special guest. She goes by the name of Crystal Alexandra. Crystal, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for choosing us and being on the platform today. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we have some projects that Crystal is working on. Her book, she's an author. She's a multi-talented woman. She also works a lot with children and children navigating. She's going through some things and circumstances. And we want to talk to her and build with her on her projects or things to come. So Crystal, first and foremost, I wanted to start off by giving condolences. I know you're going through a lot. Grief is different on everybody. It shows up different. And, unfortunately, too much about this. So for you, how have you been from that standpoint of dealing with, grief and your loved ones and the people that you love? You go through a lot of stuff. So if you could just give the audience an aspect of what what we're talking about, what you're experiencing.
No, absolutely. I lost my significant other, Mike Wills. And, in the beginning, it was definitely hard.
Yeah.
It was out of nowhere. I talked to him the same day that he had actually passed away.
Wow.
But honestly, if I want to just shout out my grandmother, who is no longer here, but she introduced me, she gave me the greatest gift ever, and she introduced me to God. And through that, I've been able to just, work through it. And it's been it's gotten a lot better.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
What are some anecdotes or some things that you learned during that process? A lot of people, you can't really teach them how to grieve. They just got to go through it. And for you, fortunately, once again, you leaned on God for your strength, for your guidance, for your comfort. So what are some things that you discovered about yourself or just about grief and period that maybe the listeners or someone that's going through the same situation can learn from?
And honestly, you have to allow your feelings to be your feelings. You can't pretend that you're okay when you're not okay. You can't pretend you're happy with something when you're not happy with something. So my thing has been writing, obviously my coworkers, my job, my family, God first and foremost. But really at this time that I have off of work, I've really been just centered with God, riding my bike, going for hikes. And that's been my outlet for me. Everybody, like you said, grieves different, but you have to allow yourself to grieve and be honest with yourself about the emotions that you're feeling.
Excellent point. And you're also an author and you have a book as well. You want to relaunch this children's book. Talk to us about the aspiration about it before we even go into it a little deeper. What inspired you, motivated you to put this project together and get it out there to the world?
Well, no one had. So I did the research first. I went to Barnes and Nobles, went to different outlets like Target, Walmart, certain places. And I was just kind of doing the research and I just realized there's no nanny book, no nanny children's book. So even if a parent wants to, purchase it, they can introduce their child to what a nanny does and, make them feel comfortable. So that was, for me, it was just important to put out the positive because you hear so much about the negative. I want the positive to be out about the kind of profession that I chose for myself, that chose me.
Yeah. Hey, what are some things that people probably don't know about nannies in general? Some people see that, they get the depiction of it through movies, right? Through movies.
Right.
They don't really understand what it is or how intricate that person is to a family. So for you, can you give us the importance of what a nanny is and what the significance that it plays in a person's life?
Right. So a nanny could be full-time or part-time, depending on the needs of the parent. And really, it's really gaining the trust of the parent. First, because the child, and depending on their age, because I've had parents that never met their child and they recommended me and they're like, okay, here's my child. The child was perfectly fine.
Okay.
It was cool. But there are some parents that are a little bit more nervous about having somebody that they really don't know come into their home, even if it's a recommendation. So really it start off by, let's do a meet and greet, with the parent. So the child sees that the parent is also trusting of you, and they invited me into their home. It's also important to have, your references, make sure all your references are up to date, your resume, your shots, and just really just presenting yourself to the parents who you say that you are.
Nice.
That's important.
Excellent. And so now we at a stage now where we are in the midst of relaunching this children's book to start
Right.
off. So what has the relaunch been about? What things are you focusing on as far as the relaunch is concerned?
Right. So the relaunch I'm adding extra characters, and the extra characters that I'm adding, they'll be in book 2 and book 3. So
Mm-hmm.
that way the audience will get a familiar. They'll be like, oh, that character was in the first book.
Yeah.
And really, it's just about the everyday of greeting the parents. All parents are professionals. So
Mm-hmm.
each book will have the child and, the mom and dad kissing the child and saying, have a good day. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing that'll be the same. And all books will be different. It'll be different races, different, you'll have a kid in a wheelchair. You'll have, a child that speaks Spanish. Just everybody,
Nice.
be included. I don't want anybody to feel like they're not part of the story.
Excellent, excellent. And so this next chapter is planned to be bigger and bolder and better. Any plans on enhancing it or bringing the book potentially to life? Have you thought that far
Oh,
out?
see, great question. See,
Okay.
yes, eventually I would love to have a cartoon.
Nice.
I would love to see dolls. I would love to see nanny dolls from all over the world.
Oh, wow, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so that's one of my big, future projects on my board, on my to-do list, when that
Mhm.
time, has come. I always pray first before I make decisions
There you
because I
go.
want to make sure, I'm headed in the right direction. But definitely costumes,
Uh-huh.
curriculum. I want it all to be out there.
Nice. And we say some puzzles as well. I see
Puzzles, yes,
that.
definitely. Bookmarkers, I think next year I'll probably join a book fair,
Nice. Okay.
and so that way I'll have a little bit more things for parents to see and just do like a meet and greet. So that would
Mhm.
be nice as well.
Yeah, you have referenced educational curriculum. I know that's important
Mhm.
for you as well too, the
Yes.
education of the kids and for the adults is the same too. So, is there still some curriculum that you potentially can develop into courses and things that are made available for the public as well?
No, absolutely. So I have some parents that I have did like a homeschool because they homeschool their children.
Oh, cool,
So they're
nice.
younger. So I only do, but as far as the homeschool, I only do from like I would say maybe a preschool to like a first grade level.
Hmm.
Depending. I mean, I could do other, but my personal experience has only been infant through like first grade. I do work with older kids, but yeah, I mean, kids, I hands on. Kids are there when they come out of the womb. They're already. Very smart and highly
Yeah,
intelligent. Their environment is their learning. So everyday stuff like pots and pans banging on them or just
yeah,
counting, certain types of blocks or counting their toes. It's
yeah.
all it's all educational.
That's beautiful. And like I said, some kids learn different too. Some more
Yeah,
visual, some more
absolutely.
display, right? Some more listen.
Absolutely.
I mean, so it's just really cool and creative that you
Yeah.
tapping into that world, kind of catching them early too, because we got to
Yeah.
mold them. We got
Yes.
to get them early, Crystal. You know that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And as far as your calling, your direction, I always like to point this out to people of faith. How important is your faith alignment? You got God mixed into this brand as well, too. You're not just doing what you want to do, but you're making sure God's is being mentioned, and the focal point is dwindling in between, is intertwining. So, how important is that for you? Your faith walk and mixed with your business and your passion and your calling, what you're doing right now.
Right. So the funny thing is I wanted to be a correctional officer.
Wow! Okay,
I
now that's
did. I wanted
different.
to be a correctional officer, but
Okay.
all my jobs were with kids. And my mentor,
Wow.
she was like, no, I think kids are your thing. And I was like, yeah. And I kept going for the test and it was never open at all. And then one day it's just like, maybe she's right. And once she was right and I
Mhm,
prayed about it,
mhm.
and then I could see, like, God would give me these visions of greatness, whatever I
Wow.
felt greatness was. It's not so much about the dollar amount for me.
Mhm.
It's more about, is it a good fit for the both of us, for me, the child, the parent,
Mm.
so that's important to me. So I pray and I work with people from all different religions.
Mhm,
But for me, in order to be guided in the right direction, it's
mhm.
important for me to pray first.
Beautiful, beautiful. With that being said, as far as faith, ministry work and outreach and evangelism and things of that nature, how important are you in your community or potentially your church or just anywhere in the world where you kind of
Right.
spreading the word and awareness of God as well too?
No, absolutely, absolutely. Well, August 29th will be Mike's birthday, so we used to feed
Nice.
the homeless together and just let them know, listen, we're sorry that these are your circumstances, but we give them resources and just to let them know what God has meant to us, because
Mhm,
when I see somebody digging out of the trash, I see myself.
mhm,
That could be me, and what would I want somebody to do for me? Not
mhm.
everybody. is homeless because of an addiction. They're not out there because they were kicked out or drug. Sometimes people just lost their job, they lost their husband, they lost their place.
Mhm.
And it's just really sad to see that. And I feel like that's where it's lost in this world. That it's
Mhm.
not about private airplanes and multi-million-dollar. And there's nothing wrong with those things. Don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
but it's really helping God's people because that's what Jesus was to us. He
Abs-
helped the people.
Absolutely. All about the people. Speaking
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
people, how
yeah.
important is Mike's legacy and moving on with his family and the
Mhm.
relationships and just his legacy in general and the legacy
Right,
you're literally trying to build moving
right.
forward? How important is that conversation with
Well,
you and your inner circle?
yeah, it's very important because the day he passed away, I remember I was praying and I promised him I was going to let the world know, you know?
Nice, nice.
And, as time goes on, the world will know, and the world knows because I placed them in the front cover of your magazine.
Yeah.
And so it was just important for me to let go of
Mm.
anger, hurt, and, just certain things. And it just
Mhm.
happened, you know? It just
Mhm.
happened. And once I started praying for other people and wishing them well, that's when stuff started falling in place. That's why I tell people you have to have honest conversations with
Yeah.
yourself and with God if you can't have it with anybody else.
Excellent. Perfectly stated. Any other things outside of this book that you're working
Mhm.
on Crystal, that we can kind of be on the lookout for, or some future goals, anything of that nature, kind of outside of that industry that you want us to be on the lookout for?
Yeah, honestly, it's just be on the lookout August 29th for in Culver City, California. I'll be passing out bags with Mike's picture on and just, making people aware of diabetes and heart
Mm.
concerns. And just even if they don't have those concerns, just act of kindness.
Mhm.
I used to
Mhm.
do that with the kids, act of kindness. And I encourage people, even if you bake something, bake muffins, go out and pass them out to people who don't have those resources to them. So
Mhm.
even if it's not necessarily about your health and you're on top of that, maybe do an
Mhm.
act of kindness. And I think that's
Nice.
important.
Nice. You know what I hear from you, Chris? I hear speaking engagements. I don't know why. You just have this
Oh,
testimony that's possible. No, I'm serious. You got this testimony that I think is possible, and you're going through the motion in real time. And I think sometimes a lot of people they're not aware of what they're going through, and you actually a walking testimony yourself. So I'm like, you know what? So I see somebody booking her for some speaking.
oh, in Jesus' name.
But there you go.
Yes, that's so funny because I've
Uh-huh.
actually I was practicing before, we had actually got on the Zoom for a
Wow.
while now, and I was so nervous because
No.
I definitely it's different when it's it's different when it's a podcast supposed to like all
Sure.
eyes on you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've thought about that. I have to get out of my comfort zone.
Ah, that's
And
good.
so I definitely I was always afraid of heights, like, get on roller coasters, to overcome was people are like but I'm like, you can't be fearful
There
of
you go.
things that you just gotta conquer those fears the best way you can.
Best way you can. You got it. Last question for you, Crystal. What's the best way for people to contact you for your services, for literally booking potential? We just talked about speaking engagements for your writing services as well.
Mhm.
I'm speaking different products and things that you can offer to
Love
this
it.
world. Advice, literally, consultations. These are the things I think that you can do. What's the best way for the people to stay in touch with you moving forward? Is there email? Is there a social media
Mhm.
platform you like to
Oh,
direct them to?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I will start off with my email, and if anybody wants to email me at cecenanny@aol.com, you can email me if you have questions or if I have any future engagements, then I'll let you know. Mhm.
10-4. It's Crystal Alexandra, guys. Once again, this is episode called On the Rise. And we thank you, Crystal, once again for
Thank
tapping
you.
in, joining us on the platform. You rocked this podcast episode.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. I think I need to do a couple of more.
You need to do some more. I'm speaking like I'm trying to push you. You got it,
Ab
Crystal.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your platform, what you've started and what you have put together. It's amazing,
Thank you so much.
and I love it, and so you should hand clap for yourself because what you have going is just yeah, it's just out of this world, so thank you so much, you
Absolutely. I
know?
appreciate you for literally believing in the vision. So thank you. This is what I created and what I started. This to speak to the people, a platform for the people, by the people. So we thank you once again. We accept those flowers. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Crystal Alexandra was here. Once again, stay tuned. Her platform and social media links will be in the show notes of this episode, as well as that email that she referenced. So I want you guys to stay in contact with her, support her books, support her products. And once again, if you need her services, don't be afraid to reach out. She is a woman of faith, and she is doing amazing things out here. It's Stardom Magazine, it's Stardom Radio, it's Stardom 101 Podcast. We are gone. Until next week, we see you guys. Same time, different guests. Peace, be good, and God bless.
God bless. Thank you.
No problem.
Are you on the rise to stardom? Well, get featured in the next issue of Stardom 101 Magazine and promote your business or products today. Text MAG to 804-550-8647 or visit stardom101mag.net.
You're listening to the Stardom 101 Magazine Podcast with Christopher Boykin. Be sure to subscribe and download this episode, and continue to listen to Stardom on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.